and then we should be good. We shouldn't have to touch them.
Okay.
You were holding it yesterday.
Okay.
Should be able to be right there. If
Okay.
you wanna bend over a little bit, that's fine. But
Okay.
it should be fine.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Good afternoon and welcome back to the NCAA Division One Women's Final Four National Championship press conference. Joining us up here on the dais, Lauren Betts. We will get started with questions for Lauren. We'll start right in the front with you, Joe.
Joe Pachowski, the Mighty Bruin. Lauren, how's your head feeling this morning?
Feels fine.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Thank you.
We'll go to the back and then we'll come back up to the front. Yep, all the way in the back. If you can raise your hand, so yep.
Hi, Charlotte Moore, FI 360 News. Congratulations, Lauren, again on making it this far. Any preparations of those dances that you guys have been making? Any dance that you're looking forward to doing after tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to jinx anything, but I'm sure you'll see lots of dances from us. I wouldn't be surprised if, this pops out tomorrow, so I'm very excited. But yeah, just trying to stay as present as possible, but I'm sure there'll be lots of dance celebrations.
I'm gonna shift to our left.
Lauren, Jack Magruder from Field Level Media. What do you recall about the last time you played South Carolina? You had a big role in the game. And how do you expect things to change, if ever, tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, they're an amazing team. They play really aggressive. They work really well together and they're scrappy. So, last time we played them, I just remember, as a post, just having a big job defensively and having to get their posts out the paint and rebounding is going to be huge, trying to limit them to one shot. So, same kind of goal for this game, just coming out with an aggressive mentality from the very beginning and playing really hard for 40 minutes.
Athletic. Lauren, Coach Close has been such an advocate of this game, pushing it forward. What would it mean for you guys to finish the job for her tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, it would mean everything, not just for her, but for our entire program. To be here is amazing, but we don't just want to end here. Like, we want to make sure we finish the season off the right way. And I know the coaches are going to work really hard to prepare us for that. And us as a team, we're going to be making sure that we're mentally locked in tonight and going into tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, this is a huge opportunity for us. So I'm just excited for another opportunity to compete.
Hi, Lauren. Jesse Morrison with Arizona Sports. Obviously, when you think about UCLA, you think about success in basketball, but it's been since 1978 in the AIW era of women's college athletics that y'all have won. It's been since 1995 that the men have won. Just what would it mean to bring a national championship back to this fan base?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I can even put it to words like how much it would mean, for everyone, their families, this program, the alum, we have all of Westwood backing us up right now. And it's just really special to see all of the support that we've had this entire tournament. So to bring it back would be like a dream come true for all of us. And this is the goal that we've had from, the very beginning. So it would mean everything.
Guys was in the crowd yesterday. I'm sure she'll be there tomorrow.
Yeah.
What does it mean to have a role model like that? Someone who's been in the situation before watching.
Yeah, she's amazing. I mean, she's one of the GOATs, to ever come through here. And she's been supporting us throughout the entire season. She sends us texts in our little group chat after like every game, and she'll text me. And yeah, I mean, to have someone like that who's such a role model for us to be able to show us that support and to give us great advice, it's just huge. And it's people like that that get us through the season. But yeah, to have her at this event is truly special.
We'll go back to Joe.
Joe Pachowski, the Mighty Bruin. Lauren, what's the best piece of advice she's given you?
Man, I think, she always talks about team, team, team. Like, she honestly has never really given me like any crazy like individual advice. She's constantly just reminding us of like how meaningful it is to really play as a team and how much better off you'll feel knowing that like you left everything out on the floor. And she's like, after every single game, like I just always wanted to look back and know that I was the best teammate and that I did everything I could and I left it all on the floor. So I think that's the biggest piece of advice that we're taking with us.
Next question for Lauren. We'll go to the back.
Hello, I'm Parker Perel, PBS Cronkite News. Third double-double in March with this past game. How, obviously dominant in the regular season, how do you keep it going and still be dominant in these big time games, high pressure situations?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't really look at it as pressure. I think just going out and just competing, and my biggest mindset going into every single game is just rebound and play defense, and the points will come. I have no doubt that my teammates are going to try to find me, but I think when I do my job on the defensive end, that really gets me going. So, just showing up and playing for my teammates, and knowing what I'm playing for and why I'm doing this at the end of the day, that's what's going to help me going into this championship.
Next question for Lauren, right here.
Hi, Lauren. Jamal Walker, Cronkite. Can you talk about the relationship you have with your sister and as a teammate?
Yeah, our relationship is really special. She's like my best friend, to be honest. She's not just my little sister. So, I mean, we really get on each other. We know each other all the time, and we bicker. But I mean, the love for each other is it's really strong, and it means a lot to me to be playing in a national championship with her. That's an opportunity that a lot of people don't get, and to have this experience with my own family and getting to do all of this, and just knowing that like at the end of the day, I always have someone who's gonna have my back and they'll be able to talk to you about anything. It means the world to me. So, yeah, she's amazing, and I'm always gonna be her number one fan, and I can't wait to see how she continues this legacy at UCLA. But I'm just so proud of her.
We'll go right here.
Dana Scott, Arizona Republic. It's your last game that you're going to be with Kiki on a lot of the group. So, how does it feel to have that time spent and learn from her and learn about yourself with that chemistry you've built over the years?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to I try not to even think about that because it makes me sad, but I'm trying to, stay positive and focus on this next game. But yeah, I mean, not just Kiki, I mean, like all of the seniors, knowing that this is our last game together, it means a lot. And the journey that we've had together, and, we've helped each other out through our toughest times, and we've built each other back up, and we've worked so hard to get here. And for me, it's not really about the wins and the losses. It's about like this entire journey that we've had together. And these girls are like my best friends. They're my sisters. I do anything for them. So we've created a legacy at UCLA, and I'm just hoping to continue that legacy. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of bittersweet. I really wish that I could have like 1,000 more years with them. They're amazing.
Let's shift to our left, Lauren.
Hi, this is Jose from Pinal Central Media. Tomorrow could be your last college game as you compete for the title. You spent the last 4 seasons at UCLA. During those 4 seasons, you've experienced ups and downs. How can you leave a lasting legacy? And what is one thing or more that you have learned while playing with your team?
Yeah. I mean, I think, this team has already created a legacy in itself. Tomorrow would just be obviously the cherry on top. But I think for me, like, I want to leave this season knowing that I left it all out on the floor. I want to play hard for 40 minutes, and regardless of the outcome tomorrow, like I want to know at the back of my head that I gave everything that I could to this team and this program. And tomorrow, my mindset is just being a leader, being vocal, giving everything, leaving this game empty, regardless of how I feel. But yeah, I think the biggest thing that I've learned in these past 3 seasons at UCLA is for me, just to always believe in like what I'm capable of doing, and to surround myself with good people, and that regardless of what I do on the court, that doesn't take away from my value as a person. I have people who love me regardless of how many points I score, and that's the biggest lesson I've learned.
The next question will go right here.
Sorry, I was a little late, but I love that t-shirt. Can you talk a little bit about kind of the joy that you found this season doing things that are, like your dance routine and being a cheerleader, and it just seems like you guys have a lot of fun, and that's really fun to see.
Yeah, we do. I think I always say like this is my favorite season I've ever had at UCLA. And it's honestly not just because of all the basketball. I mean, like the amount of random things that we've done as a group has made it so enjoyable. And I mean, yeah, Char did a little collab with the dance team for her YouTube channel, and I got to be a part of it. Thank God, it was the best, most enjoyable experience I've honestly had ever. It was so fun, and yeah, I mean, I'm sure everyone's seen we've done it after a lot of games, but I mean, yeah, I think it just speaks to like this group. We just really enjoy each other, and we just want to make it fun. And yes, like obviously we're very serious and we like to compete and win games, but like you can also enjoy the journey as well. So yeah, I just really love this group.
Take our next question from the right.
Hi, Lauren. Tony Carter with Cronkite as well. What kind of a role did sacrifice play between the team this year, and how did it get you guys to this point?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's key to this team. You look at every girl on this team, they could go to any team that they want and average whatever, how many points they want. And I think, to really sacrifice yourself and, your ego and be able to put that aside for a bigger purpose. And I think when you're in moments like this, it makes it all worth it. I mean, this is what we wanted. This is why we all came here. And especially for this core group of people to come back and to believe in what we wanted to do, it's amazing. And I think I'm really happy. I'm just really thankful for Coach Cori and the way that she's continued to push that message and the way that we've all bought into it, because it's not easy, but it makes it all worth it at the end of the day.
Lindsay.
Lindsay Gibbs with CBS Sports. Lauren, Cori talks so much about the big picture and about, really being an advocate for the women's game at large, and even apologizing or saying she wanted to apologize last night for the offense.
Yeah.
Do you think of yourself as representing like all of women in women's sports? Like, is that something you carry with you when you're on the court?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm always trying to represent myself in the best way possible. I think I represent a lot. I think I represent, for me, I've always been really vocal about women's sports, mental health, being an advocate for that. So I think every time, I step out on the floor, I remember that it's not just about me. And every time that I, speak to media, I remember that it's not about me. Just continuing to try to grow the game in any way that I can. And I think Coach Cori has always done a good job of reminding us of that it's bigger than ourselves. And I think that's what makes UCLA so special in this program, is that, we're constantly doing things to help the community, to help the game. And I think that's what's, so special about this group.
Next question for Lauren. I'll ask one. What have you learned about yourself in this tournament that you didn't know about yourself, or fully know back in November?
Yeah. Man, I think that, when things get tough, I'm able to persevere and fight through. And, I think throughout the season, there's lots of outside noise and opinions that could have gotten to me at a time like this when it's so crucial and there's lots of pressure. But I think the way that I, approach this tournament, I just feel very level headed, and I'm not getting too hard on myself. I'm not thinking about what people have to say about me before or after the game. I'm just staying very neutral and present and, focusing on myself in this inner circle. And I think it allows me to show up and compete and do what I need for my team. I could really care less at this point what people have to say about me. I'm just trying to win games. So
Awesome. We're going to go Bill. We'll come back up to the front, go to the back, and then we'll come back over here.
Bill Rhoden from ESPN Landscape. I'm just curious, you were talking about this about women's sports. It is, so many great strides have been made. And as you leave, what's sort of the next, as you look at it, what's the next mountain to climb for whether it's women in basketball, but just the industry as you've seen it? What's the next mountain to climb?
well, I mean, a huge one was just climbed recently, so that's been really big. And obviously, I'm really grateful for, all of the, players that made those commitments and those sacrifices for people like me who are entering the W next year. So, I mean, that was huge, and I don't take that for granted, and I'm so thankful. And, we don't like to talk about that a lot because we try to keep, very present focus. But I mean, that's amazing, and I'm just very, very grateful for all the hard work that went into that. So I'm very excited.
South Carolina is obviously a very good team. Just what's the key to beating them tomorrow?
Man, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's the national championship. So, you know, it's not going to be an easy game. We're going to have to go into it and really give everything that we possibly can for 40 minutes. There's no letting up. So, you know, I think against a team like that, it's going to be all about our aggressiveness, you know, on both ends of the floor. Offensively, just not letting them take them out of our game, making sure that we're staying really strong and finding each other when we need to. And then defensively, limiting them to one shot and, you know, rebounding. And I don't care how many rebounds we all get. As long as we get the board, it doesn't matter who rebounds. We just need the ball at the end of the day.
Hey, Lauren.
You can go ahead.
Hi, Lauren. Following up to, or piggybacking off the question about South Carolina, tomorrow you do get the matchup against another kind of, in a sense, another post player. How do you feel about that matchup, and how do you feel the evolving post players today in women's game,
Yeah.
as far as with your position?
I think it's really cool. You know, I love to see the growth in the post game, especially because I mean, I feel like I consider myself a pretty like, you know, old school kind of post. So I think it's really cool to just see, you know, the development and how hard we worked to get to where we are. I mean, you know, I'm excited for tomorrow's matchup. I think it'll be really fun. Yeah, I mean, she's an amazing post, and I know that I'm gonna have to work really hard for the entire game, but yeah, I mean, I think that throughout the season, I've had to match up with a lot of amazing posts, and I do in practice every single day. So I feel like the work that, you know, has gotten me to this point will help me tomorrow. So I'm just really excited to compete.
To our left.
Heather Burns, USA Today. To that point, you know, last night you were able to really shut down Madison Booker, and I think really took her out of her game. And they did say in the press conference that it felt like, you know, having a 6'7" person really, really hurt their flow of their offense
Yeah.
and your guys' defense. So, you know, can you talk a little bit about kind of being in control underneath and taking up the paint and just changing the whole complexion of the game?
Yeah. First off, I just want to say, like, Skinner, she's such a amazing, or Booker, sorry, she's such an amazing player, and you know, I don't want yesterday to take over the fact that like she's had an amazing season, and I've seen a lot of the stuff that she's getting right now, and she really doesn't deserve it all. So I really wish everyone would give her a little bit of grace, because she's a human at the end of the day. But yeah, I mean, for me, you know, just I think my entire goal, you know, this entire season is just to do my job and protect the rim. And I think yesterday was just another example of what I consistently do every single game. You know, the scout is usually the same for me. Just, you know, protect the rim. Don't let people get easy shots. If guards get beat, I'll be there to help them. And I think that allows them to get out, you know, and protect the paint or the 3-point island a little bit and to attack that. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think it was anything special that I did yesterday. I think I was just staying true to what I usually do.
We'll go Joe, Lindsay to our right, and then we'll come back.
Lauren, during the first and second round, you said you were happy to be done with classes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's take the focus back a little bit to the college in collegiate athletics. You said you've loved your time at UCLA, mostly, well, obviously, you know, there's basketball, there's your teammates, but what was your favorite class at UCLA, and what was your toughest class?
Man, my toughest class, I'm not gonna lie, Gabs and I were in this Social 102 class, and it shouldn't have been as hard as it was, but it was for us because, you know, we miss so many classes due to travel, and so it just makes it a lot more difficult than it has to be. My favorite class, I think, was my education class that I took with Dr. Howard, and he's an amazing professor. He's actually on this trip, and he's been at most of our games this season, and him and I had like an independent study where I got to just meet with him like a few times on Zoom, and honestly, we really didn't even talk about my paper. We just talked about life, and he just continues to like, you know, feed me confidence and just remind me of like who I am. And he always just, the biggest piece of advice he always gives me, he's like, Lauren, you got to say no more often. He's like, you got to stop being so nice to people and give yourself a break. And I feel like it honestly was amazing advice because I feel like it's just, you know, he helps me a lot mentally, and he's a great guy. So.
Lindsay?
Lindsay Gibbs with CBS Sports. First of all, I want to know how many times you watched that block from the end of the game. And also, obviously, after the UConn South Carolina game, there was a lot of off-court drama that's been a big talk. I'm wondering if if Cori addressed any of it with you guys and how you guys are staying focused.
Yeah, no, I saw what happened. Stuff happens. But I don't know. I have nothing to do with that. Our team, we are not focused on that. But sorry, what was your other question? How did I watch the block? I saw it a few times because my teammates were talking about it on the bus on the way back to the hotel. They were like, Lauren, that was just amazing. It was like poetry. I just can't believe you did. I'm like, but like to me, it's just a block. Like I didn't really think of it that seriously. But yeah, I mean, I was just, in the right place at the right time. So
We'll go to our right.
Lauren, how will your game change if South Carolina double teams you tomorrow?
I've been double teamed all season, so I don't think it really changes anything for me. It's what I've worked on all season, honestly, since high school. So I think for me, it's just staying patient and making the right reads and not letting their pressure dictate how I play.
Hi, Lauren, Marion Swanson, LA Times. Kiki was talking about Jackie Joyner Kersey had come and talked to you guys after a game this year at Illinois, and sort of the message. I wanted to ask you sort of what you remember about that and what message she conveyed, and also what you think about your team and like your legacy in the great pantheon of sports and athletes at UCLA.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was really special to have someone like her come talk to our team. She's done a lot for UCLA, and the way she pours into teams now is, I think, really special. And I think for all the alum at UCLA, they just continue to just give us such good energy, and I love that for us. But I think no, the message was really just, give it everything you have. Like, this is our last time, especially for the seniors, to do something like this and, to win a national championship. And I think, just don't leave this team and this program, with anything left. Like, you just want to give it all you have and just continue to fight and work together. But yeah, she's done amazing things for UCLA, and I'm just really thankful to have someone like her who continues to pour into us.
On our right. A reminder, no filming.
Hey, Lauren. Ellie from Overtime. I'm curious what your funniest Coach Cori story or Coach Cori-ism of all time is.
Coach Cori-ism. Man, I think one of my favorite things that she says is, I think she said it yesterday. She's like, rings will collect dust and what's it called? Banners will whatever. But she's like, the memories you create, something like that. I don't know if I'm getting it wrong, but she says it like all the time. And I just think it's a beautiful message, but I hear it a lot, but it's beautiful. And it comes from a good place. It's a really good quote.
What states are our right?
Grace Rayner with The Athletic. As a follow-up to that, when all of this is over, what will you remember most about playing for her?
I think the way that she never has given up on me. I think, through everything that we've been through and how much we push each other, she pushes me every single day, even on the days that I really don't want to hear her. And on the days where she knows she has to be a jerk sometimes, but she just knows what I'm capable of, and she believes in me so much and is so confident in me in days where I don't even believe in myself. And I can't ask for a better person to coach me. She, when you have someone who has taken you from such a dark place and has gotten you to where I am today, she's such an amazing person in my life. So I'm just always going to be very, very thankful for her.
We'll take our next question from Michael on our right-hand side.
Lauren, Michael Vogel from ESPN.com. Going back to the 2024 season, you had that double overtime loss at the Pac-12 tournament, the last one. And I remember that being just a tough moment for everybody to USC. Has it seemed like it's been a steady ascent almost since then? You guys really got... people talk about learning from losses, but you really did from that loss.
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't even really remember that. That feels like so long ago. I think, I think the biggest thing we learned from that game, we try to talk about, I think our preparation has gotten amazing since then. We do special sitch every single practice. So when we get into situations like that where we're down whatever with how many seconds left, like we just know that, we're prepared and we're ready to, compete and score because we've done it so many times in practice. So, I think it shows even in yesterday's game, we're up 10 and they start, coming back and we're only up 3 at some point. Like we're very consistent, and you can see it with our body language and the way we walk out on the court. We're just very steady for the entire game.
Any additional questions in the back?
Hi, Lauren. Des with Pretty Girls Media. I want to switch gears a little bit. You went viral. You and your teammates did a dance for your senior day or representing your senior night. And I want to know, as a former cheerleader myself, what did it take for you to learn the dance? And do you have a newfound respect for the dancers and the cheerleaders in the sport?
I do, because let me tell you, we had one rehearsal and I felt so sore after because we had done like that little like arch back part, and I told him the next day, I was like, I was more sore from that than I have in like a preseason practice. Like it was so exhausting. And yeah, no, lots of credit because they have to be in really good shape to be able to push through an entire dance. But yeah, no, I mean, that was really fun. And, you know, just really thankful that I got to be a part of that. And the dance team is so sweet. You know, they love our team and they're just always so supportive. And for them to, you know, teach us to dance and be so patient with us because, you know, we think that we're good, but we're definitely not as good as they are. So, yeah, I mean, that was just a really cool experience for the girls for sure.
We're going to go to the back and then we'll come to Steve. Steve, you'll be our last question.
Hey, Lauren, John Davis with the Daily Gamecock. You guys are coming off a pretty low scoring contest against Texas. South Carolina's coming off a pretty low scoring contest against UConn. When both teams are playing such great defense, what do you look for from your team to generate good offense?
Yeah. You know, I think for our team, once we get stops, we really like to push and transition and we like to play really fast. And that's how, you know, we like to compete. So I think just making sure that, you know, we're taking things away, coming out with a really aggressive mindset and just making things really hard for them. And I think that will push us in our offense. But, you know, I think it's honestly like a mentality thing. I don't think there's anything, you know, basketball wise that really need to change, but it's just like, you know, the message that like you're just not gonna stop us from scoring. You know, I think that was the message yesterday at halftime when we went to the locker room. We were just all talking about like, you know, we can't let them take away what we want to do. Like we have to be stronger. We have to push through it. So I think just, you know, the way we start out tomorrow will be really important.
And to our left, we'll take our last question from Steve.
Congratulations making it this far. This probably good to be the last question. So it comes down to all this, your last game at UCLA, the last game with all of you who played and struggled together. What are your thoughts going into this, knowing it's your last game at UCLA? Even if you win, there's still no more. It's the end. And is there, you're a great player, but you're also human. Is there a bit of nervousness mixed in with the excitement, with the anticipation? Just tell us your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to Pam yesterday after the game, and we were both like honestly crying, not just because, you know, we're heading into the national championship, but because, you know, it's our last time me wearing a UCLA jersey. And, you know, I think we always talk about like, you know, we will win games tomorrow, no matter how it goes. Like the journey and like that we've all had together and the things that we've been through has been so special, and the memories that we've created. And, you know, I love these girls so much, and I'm going to fight for them till the death. And I'm just, you know, so proud of the way we represented this school, this program, this community, and these girls mean everything to me. This program has changed my life in the best way possible, and I'm forever grateful for UCLA. It's the best decision that I've ever made was coming here.
Lauren, I want to thank you for your time this afternoon and best of luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
We're going to toss right to questions.
Okay.
All right, we'll begin with questions for Coach. We'll start right over here to our left.
Ben Bulch with the California Post. We've been hearing all season long, Coach T, the mental conditioning. Can you take us through her impact? And I know you've had, you know, kind of psychologists work with the team before, but how has this been different, and how has she impacted the team? And what is it about her that makes her such a valuable mentor for these young ladies?
You know, Coach Tasha, I worked with her when I was at UC Santa Barbara too, and she's just always been a brilliant teacher. She has a gift. She has a gift to connect, and she just is a phenomenal teacher. So we had several through the times, Joshua Medcalf, who's flying in for the game, he was for the first 7 years our director of mental conditioning. Then we had Colin Henderson, Trevor Moab. We had some various people contribute in that. But through that period of time, you know, Tasha was learning from them, and she really had a passion for it. Excuse me. So she was just taking copious notes. She was doing all this off-season reading. And then we get to a point where the players were like, we want Coach T to take this on. And the reason they said it, they loved everybody that had taught us, but they said, Coach T is so passionate about it and she's here every day. And so that was a real turning point, and it really came from the players' request, that they thought that was the best way to go, and they really noticed that she had really mastered her craft in that way.
We'll stay right behind with the LA Times. Raise your hand. Oh, I thought you had a question. Okay, there we go. We'll go.
Hi, Cori. Jeff
there.
Metcalf, Sports Days. Yeah. Your players and the South Carolina, the older players, said they've seen a lot of progress since 2021 in terms of treatment at the tournament, facilities improvements, the things that were lagging back, 4 years ago.
Right.
Do you see that as well? What do you attribute that to? And how do you think Phoenix is doing as a first-time host?
I'm thrilled. Obviously, we need more West Coast cities, not just talking about because I'm a West Coast school, because of the good of the game. We need to have exposure of our great game into a variety of West Coast cities. I think that just brings parity. It grows the enthusiasm of the game, TV, viewership, all those connecting points. And so I'm thrilled that Phoenix has done this. I think they've done a great job. And, it's interesting. Dawn and I both worked during the time after the bubble when the gender equity things came to a head. Her and I were on a call every week together, trying to attack some of these things together. Coach Oriema actually was on that call as well. Tara Vanderveer was on that call. I don't know why I was on the call, but they just let me. And to work together and to see some of this progress, obviously what they've done at South Carolina in terms of attendance, in terms of capturing the hearts of their community, has just been unmatched. They're a standard bearer in that way. And, we really, have wanted to be that kind of program on the West Coast. And so, but you need the standards of the championships to reflect what we're all trying to do on our individual campuses. And it's been really rewarding to actually partner with Dawn to help that grow. And I think she's been spectacular at it.
We'll come up to the front in our right.
Hey, Coach. David Yapkowitz from the 9 Sports. We've talked all season about how Lauren's gotten better at reading the defense, being able to pass out of the post. But what have you seen from the rest of the group as far as how they've kind of continued to learn how to pick their spots playing off?
Yeah, I think that, Lauren would be the first to say that that's the biggest difference from last year to this year, is that everybody's understanding how they can contribute. We're not all just standing around staring at Lauren. And I think that we didn't do that as well offensively in our semifinal game against Texas, but over the course of the season, that's been a real intentional area of focus, is that everybody understands sort of what their value add is, and we want them to feel confident to hunt for that. At the same time, understanding that the more it's about playing through the paint, not just playing through Lauren, and having that attack mindset. But that's been one of the things that's been really fun for me to watch grow, is all the other people understanding how much value they add, whether it be defensively or offensively, but they have their own things to be really proud of.
We can go to Doug.
Hey, Coach. Doug Feinberg, AP. Dawn was very complimentary of what you've done at UCLA the last couple of years. I asked her about her first time in the championship game in 2017, and she said that the biggest thing she exhaled after getting there and then went on to win it in hopes that you guys don't have the same success in your first one. But just what have you been able to do in the last, 20 hours to get ready for tomorrow? And what are you expecting, another rugby match tomorrow? Or are we going to have a more of an aesthetically pleasing game?
I hope so. I really hope we have a more aesthetically pleasing game. Actually, Joshua Medcalf, who I referred to earlier, texted me last night and said, I never thought I'd say that the NBA games that I'm watching are called tighter than the semifinals of women's college basketball. I just, it's not an easy job. I don't at all claim to say that I know the solutions, but I do think we all want the same thing. The officiating, the coaches, the players, we all want the same thing. We want to be able to have a very stylistic game that shows off the progress of the game, that continues to grow the game nationally to people who are tuning in. We just got to figure out where that gap is and how we can close it. You know, I think the last 20 hours is a matter of just nonstop prep. You know, I mean, we have, both programs have so much respect for each other. We've played each other the last 2 out of 3 years. It's, you know, who can be their best when their best is needed, who can execute to their identity on a more consistent basis. You know, but we've been very businesslike. We were not jumping around in the locker room. We were not celebrating. We have really come to this tournament very focused, and we really believe that the job wasn't done yet, and we want to have a chance to compete for a national championship, and we want to do that at the highest of levels. So I definitely don't think there was a sigh of like, oh, well, thank goodness we made that next step. We want to compete to win.
We'll stay to the center, Andrea.
Andrea Adelson with ESPN. As a follow-up to that, Cori, this is your first national championship game appearance. Last year was the first Final Four. Is there more pressure involved with a first Final Four as a #1 overall seed, or first national championship game appearance?
I definitely think last year actually felt like, because we were reacting to everything, not anticipating. Whereas now that we have been a part of this, it just was a totally different planning experience. You know, everything was, I just felt like we were able to be more strategic in how we put our players in positions to be successful. And I think they were able to anticipate, like, okay, I heard the returners saying, now this is going to be a long day. This is what you have to bring. This is what you have to do. And I just think that makes all the difference in the world.
Hi, Coach. Charlotte Moore, FI 360 News. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I know we talked throughout the season about, you had mentioned about your standard. The standard right now is 2 women are playing, 2 women coaches in the championship game. Not to make this a battle of the sexes, but they did beat 2 men coaches. How has that?
You said it, not me.
How has that grown, though, far as women head coaches in this game? And what do you think that narrative will be coming out of this Final Four?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, let's just, you know, we love great basketball, and give Coach Auriemma and Coach Vic Schaefer their kudos in what they have done to set bars of excellence in the game. So that being said, I think both Dawn and I feel a sense of pride that we are able to, you know, continue to represent women that can coach at the highest levels, to promote our game. I think both Dawn and I really see this as something bigger than ourselves. That and that's an honor. That's an honor to be a part of that. And we want part of the legacy that I know. I don't want to speak for her, but I do think she feels the same way, is that we want to have really made an impact on growing the game for a long time to come, and to inspire that women can stay in this game, and that we don't lose women coaches. We need to promote more women at the grassroots levels to be coaching and getting involved in youth sports. So we're there's just a lot of things that go into that, and I think that there's something to be said about, if you can see it, you think you can achieve it, right? And I think that it's an honor to be a small part of that.
We'll shift to our left in the front.
Dimitri Dorlis, the Mighty Bruin. Coach Staley talked earlier about the importance of Raven Johnson, who's been in her program all 5 years. And you have a couple players, Gabriela Jaquez and Kiki Rice, who've spent their entire college career with you. Can you speak to the importance of, like, not just their growth, but also the importance to your program and what they've meant to you?
They're the hub of the wheel. That, you know, from when Gabs, you know, made it very clear that I think she was 8 years old. She wrote on that piece of paper that she was going to go to UCLA someday. And she has played with that kind of gratitude and passion for all 4 years. And Kiki Rice, at that time was the highest ranked player that we had ever signed. And for her to have the belief that we could do something really special, and then to have the fortitude to stick with it all the way through. And the real powerful thing is that so many of our players that came after came because Kiki Rice was here. They wanted to play with her. And so both of them deserve so much credit for the position that we're in. I am so grateful to them. Commitment is a really hard thing. We have a phrase actually that Coach Shannon, when she was here, she said, it is your commitments, not your feelings, that will determine your destiny. And that is very true for Kiki Rice and Gabriela Jaquez, that their commitments have led them to this point. And I am so thankful for those.
We'll take our next question from Marissa. If you could raise your hand, we can get the microphone to you.
Hi, Cori, Marissa and Jimmy, LA Times. I'm curious, like looking back to last year when you were in this spot or the game before, how do you feel like you've kind of grown as a coach since that moment? Is there an area you look at that you feel more prepared for now, or how would you evaluate that?
Yeah, I think there was a lot. I think that every time you hit a roadblock or a failure sometime where you felt like you weren't your best version of yourself, you have to do a bunch of things. You got to ask truth tellers in your leadership life to go, hey, what are you seeing here? Where are my blind spots? And, where do we fall short? And then I have a responsibility to, make strategic changes that reflect that I really heard those things or saw those things. And so, there's tactical things, there's leadership things, there's, how we structured our practices, the things that we needed to address. And so I just hope that every year, whether it's getting embarrassed at a Final Four or whatever. I had a situation at the beginning of this tournament that I had to go to a player and ask for their forgiveness. I screwed up. And I just think that's how you grow as a leader, and how you earn credibility with your players is you don't think you have it all together all the time. And I think that when you're able to do that, you actually experience the most growth. And so, it's never fun in the moment. It sure wasn't fun to be exposed in some of the ways that we were exposed, and I'm ultimately responsible. But I am thankful for the growth that has stemmed from that.
Going to stay to our right, gentlemen, if you could raise your hand.
Mike Regalado, Bruin 24/7. Coach, you always talk about the women that have built this program that have come before you, but have you thought about your place in the history of UCLA women's basketball?
Not for a second. I really, it just is not it's not my why. It's not my purpose. Where I get my joy is watching the players do things that hopefully you're a part of something that maybe they couldn't have done on their own, and you got to facilitate that. But honestly, I coach for purpose and for an audience of one.
We'll take our next question from Cassandra and then Michael Vopel. Cassandra, you can raise your hand just a little bit higher for us. Thank you.
Cassandra Negley, Yahoo Sports. Women's sports is often lost to history or completely ignored. I know you've talked about that AIAW team, but I'm wondering your thoughts on the fact that you just being here kind of sheds a spotlight on that team that maybe wouldn't be there.
Yeah, I think that's been really fun. I was listening to Gabriella talk about them, and I think it was last night. I can't remember when, sometime. And I thought it's really cool. She gets it, that every time we get said as the first and the only, and we don't say anything to correct that, it's sort of like this jab at that team. And so it's an opportunity for us to bring that light to them and to say, we see you, we appreciate you. You're a part of why we're here. Several of the women on that team are in the building here that are season ticket holders of ours. And, it's a hard situation because there's semantics of what was, the NCAA acknowledged. This is the NCAA era, but I just don't want it to diminish what they did. And I want them to always feel that we acknowledge them, we see them, and we honor them.
We'll take our next question from Michael.
Hi, Coach Close. I want to ask you maybe about two moments or situations that that sort of I feel like we're defining in your program over the last few years. One is 2022 was a tough year, but you guys made that decision to go ahead and play in the WNIT, even though it was mostly seniors. I think Angela might have been your only player that's still with you from then. But making that decision to go ahead and play that game in that sort of challenging year, and then that tough loss to USC in 2024 in double overtime. Lauren said that game helped in terms of end of game strategy, that they've carried that with them. I just wonder if you could maybe talk about those two things.
I think you have to learn how to win, and each group is a little bit different. I remember even back before that, I don't know how the years are running together a little bit, but when Jordan Canada's first year, where that was the #1 recruiting class, I had way over scheduled. We missed the tournament, but we played in the WNIT at that time. And I thought it was very instrumental in building our toughness and learning how to win. And, those are just steps. And then same in that, the one you referred to, I just think that every situation is you got to learn what is my responsibility of placing the brick that we have in the perfect position. We're not just trying to build a wall. We're trying to place the brick that we have in the present moment in the best possible way we can. And I think participating in that tournament was part of learning how to place that brick for that season of our development in the right place. That's been really, really huge. And I've always thought we were pretty intentional and good in special situations or in-game situations. And that year, we failed. We lost 3 games in-game situations that I have to take responsibility for as a coach. I did not do a good enough job putting them in positions to be successful. And so that off season, we made a real commitment to them that we were going to be better for them, and we were going to be really intentional about how we went about things. And we do special situations in our practices pretty much 15 minutes every single day ever since then. And I think our players have a new level of confidence in that area. But, like most things in life, when you get exposed and when you have to do things, you have to respond, and it forces you to maybe grow in a way that you might not have otherwise.
We're going to stay to our right.
Jack Magruder from Field Level Media, Coach. Talking about your competition against South Carolina recently, what do you recall most about the last time you played, and what do you think was so successful for you in those games?
Well, it was one of those games at home that we were really clicking on both sides of the ball. But I think really it starts with, and we had a great game Kiki's freshman year at South Carolina. It came down to the wire, and we ended up losing that game. But it was really a great game. I think that both teams, what I remember is the team that rebounds the best and defends the best down the stretch won both those games. And I've been on both sides of that, but I don't think it's probably going to be that different. I think it's going to be a possession game. Now, that wasn't the case against Texas, but that's how good our defense was, because they still got 21 more shots on the goal than we did. I don't think that we'll be able to do that against South Carolina, that if they get that many more shots on the goal, either because of rebounds or the turnover battle, that we'll be able to do that. But in both situations, the way I remember it is the team that was able to dictate with their defense and get enough stops and win the rebounding battle came out on top.
Staying to our right.
Hi, Coach. Ana Cabral with Mexican Media. I just wanted to ask you, we've all seen the growth. Congratulations on an amazing season.
Thank you.
What would you say the keys to the physical and mental preparations have been for your team to be ready for this moment? And what will you cherish more about your time with this group?
Well, I think that one of the things that I never have had to coach this group's work ethic. And it's just, I actually have to kick them out. Like, hey, there is no skill workouts today. Like they will want those one-on-one things every single day if they could. And I think that, the mental probably at this point is more important than the physical. But leading up, it all has to be there, right? You have to have this really strong foundation of who you are physically, who you are tactically, and then who you are mentally and emotionally into your connectivity. So I think this is the culmination, right? That it's sort of the byproduct of all the work that has gone into that. But I can't speak for South Carolina, but it is really important that we recover well, that we do as little on our feet as we can today. Recovery is everything. And most of the work is going to be mental at this point.
Going to shift to the front, Joe.
Joe Pachowski, the Mighty Bruin. Coach, you've spoken all season about the way the teams had a growth mindset. At this point in the season, with the final game of the season tomorrow, no matter what, Is there still room for growth, or is it more about execution?
Both. I think you have to let each experience, each scouting report, each interaction teach you. If you're not, that's how we built it, is just a choice to intentionally grow every single day, every single time out, every single opportunity. It's one of our core values. So I don't think that ever stops. And we have to execute. We have to execute at a really high level. But I think every game is gonna present adversity and opportunities to pivot. We decided to change how we played ball screen coverage in a way that we didn't prepare for at all in the second half, in the fourth quarter of that game. The way that when they were bringing their 5 up to go in ball screen action with Rory Harmon, the game required us to make a pivot, to change strategies. And so, I just think there has to be a balance of both. How are we growing? How are we adjusting? And how do we strategize to have the best execution we possibly can?
To our right and center.
Hi, Coach Jesse Morrison, Arizona Sports. First off, it's, when you think of UCLA, you think of success in basketball, but we were just talking about the 1978 AAW team. That was the last time the women won. 1995 was the last time the men won. Just what what would this mean to be able to bring this championship back to the fan base? And then secondly, just, how great has it been having Ann Myers-Drysdale kind of a presence with this team?
Yeah, it's just been spectacular to have Annie. I got a text from her last night. She has been there for us and with us since I got there. I've known Annie a long time, and she's never wavered in terms of what she's been to me as a young coach, all the way through to my being a head coach at UCLA. And I just am so grateful for that. I think what you said about bringing it back to the fan base and to really share it with the UCLA village that has supported us at every turn, that is probably the most meaningful part for me, is that to be able to contribute. You guys have heard me say several times that banners hang in gyms and rings collect dust, but who you become and who you impact, you get to keep forever. And I always want to stay focused on that, because I want to stay focused on being a coach that coaches things that last. But that being said, to have that opportunity would be really spectacular, because it gives me the opportunity to thank and connect to the village, the UCLA village that has buoyed us and helped us and supported us and been incredibly enthusiastic supporters. The chance to connect that with them would be an honor.
We're going to stay to our right, and Michael, if you can grab a mic.
Coach Michael Caratino, Sideline Sports. Drawing on situations and experiences is obviously huge, and I say that because obviously both teams have to. It's a timeline, it's a quick turnaround, and you have your scout, your assistant scout, and prep. But how big is it drawing on obviously like experiences like playing in the Big Ten tournament, and then even the early season matchups and the holiday stuff where it's 3 games in 3 days, and like you said, going through end game situations, whatever. But what's the biggest challenge in having a good scout and knowing maybe a lot of it will come into in-game adjustments?
Well, I think you got to be your best on all facets, right? I mean, and they have, they know us really well. We know them really well. It's going to be about players making plays. There's just, you have to have players that are willing to recognize and seize the opportunity to make a winning play that's probably not going to be on the scouting report. I mean, I think, that you try to, provide the best, structure and game plan you possibly can. And then you have to be just trusting of them, that I want our team to feel empowered. I don't want them to feel like it has to come from us. And at the same time, I want to have their backs at every turn. So that's the fine line you're trying to find. But, I really do believe that guard play is everything in these kind of games. We've got great guards. They've got great guards. And, it's just going to be a matter of who executes their game plan and plays to their identity a little bit better.
We'll go all the way in the back, Coach.
Good afternoon, Coach. Terry Collins of TG Sports TV1. How does a head coach teach themselves and their staff to protect your own mental health and the wellness of your family as you navigate the rigors of the tournament and all of the sacrifices your family has to make?
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up. I am so grateful to the families of our staff members and coaches. they sacrifice a lot. And I think it's, we try to be really intentional about rest and really intentional about including families. And, it's not an easy profession, to balance those things. And I don't even think it's a work-life balance. I sort of don't subscribe to that. I think it's how do you have healthy integration to both who you want to be as a family member as well as who you want to be in your profession, and how can I facilitate an environment where they don't feel like it's an either or? How do we create both ands? How do we create that their families feel a part of it? My parents actually were great examples of this when I was growing up. And I remember my dad was involved in an organization called Young Life, and he would do it on his own after, for a while after he was done teaching. He was a high school teacher as well. And when he first did it, I still remember this as a kid. It was not, I wouldn't say totally resentful, but it was really hard because he got to go off and do Young Life, and my mom was stuck with the burden of what was not happening at home because he was doing that. And then eventually my mom's like, you know what? I'm going to go do it with him. And now we're going to take our whole family and we're going to do this. And then it was a situation of integration, and it was something that we shared. And it was at hard work? Absolutely. Was there sacrifices? For sure. But it was something that we really enjoyed sharing together as a family. And I think I try imperfectly to try to think that same way for our staffs. Even though I don't have a family of my own, I really value that. And I don't want our staff members to have to choose. And so I'm constantly saying, hey, how can I help you with that? And how can I be better as a leader in that? Because I've seen it go wrong far too often.
We're going to go on Sean, then Lindsay.
Hi, Coach. Sean Hurd with ESPN's Landscape. You've been very complimentary of Dawn and her program. I'm just curious what's most impressed you about her tenure at South Carolina and her ability to get her teams in this position consistently.
I think what impresses me the most about what Dawn's done is obviously her sustained level of excellence on the court is just undeniable. She's been a standard bearer. I think I saw Holly Rowe talking about just her and Gino being the ones that, pretty much hold the beacon of where our sport is going, and has gone recently. And that's true. She's earned that. But I think the other part that I respect so much about Dawn is how much she cares for the people around her. And I'm really grateful for that, because actually someone I'm really close to is on her staff right now, Wendell Farrow, and I've seen it firsthand, and I care deeply. My mom teases us because he spends Christmas with me every year, and my mom's like, I couldn't get a word in edgewise. All you guys were doing is talking about basketball like a whole day, and but he has come back, and you're on the outside and you think you admire that, but when he comes and says, Dawn is just amazing, and how she cares for people, how she cares for the entire community. He was telling me stories about different things that she has sacrificially done for different groups of people that aren't even in their program. But outside of that, she's just really used her platform to be a lifestyle giver. And to me, that's really a spectacular combination, to have that level of sustained excellence and to make a difference in so many people's lives. Then you're doing things the right way.
Lindsay Gibbs with CBS Sports. Obviously, you were focused on your own game last night. I didn't know if you had a chance to see what transpired at the end of the UConn South Carolina game. And obviously, you support Dawn Staley a lot, if you've reached out to her at all.
We text a little bit last night, but very briefly. And, I didn't actually, I told her in a couple weeks I'd love to know the real story. But, I just think, those are two people, honestly, both Coach Auriemma and Dawn Staley, that have invested in me. I have had opportunities to grow in this profession because of the both of them. So I'm going to let that be between them, but I will just say that, so this is a really competitive environment, and emotions are incredibly high, and this is a culminating event, and I know them to be really good people. And so I'm going to trust that when all the dust settles, that we just come back to that.
To our left, Coach.
Just to follow up on Delhi real quick. Could you have imagined when you kind of reached out to him and shocked him with the video coordinator proposal that you'd be coaching against him in the
No. And I was watching him in Sacramento because he's from Sacramento. We had 62 people come to be a part of his experience there. And then to be able to go to a Final Four, I'm really excited for him until tomorrow. And, but honestly, he applied to be our administrative assistant back in, I think it was 2012. And we ended up going, you don't fit there, but you might be really good here. And he changed some of the ways we do things. The way we run our scout team is because of the way he transformed it. The way that we do certain things in terms of connecting with our players and celebrating some things are because of his stamp on our program. And, I love who he is, and I love the way he knows how to connect and support diverse groups of people in such an incredibly genuine way. And I feel very lucky to be a part of his life, but I'm thrilled for him until tomorrow.
Hi, Coach. Alex Hernandez here with Arizona State University. With the current landscape of college athletics and how prominent the transfer portal is, what are some of the challenges that come with building continuity on a year-to-year basis?
Yeah. Great question. I mean, I'm in the midst of it, right? I have several transfers on my team now, but I'm also going to lose 6 seniors, and we're going to be very proactive in the transfer portal. We're probably going to sign 5 transfers. I think you have to be a really good relationship builder and culture builder if you're going to have continuity within this environment. You have to be incredibly intentional about that. What does that look like all the way from the summer, all the way through? I think it has to be more than just chemistry on how you read screens. It has to do with I don't think you can have a committed team unless you have a connected team. And so really building that with a new group of people has to be really well planned out. And but I don't think it can't be done. I think it really can. And I would say that probably one of the biggest connectors on our team is Charlize Ledger-Walker, and she's only been here 2 years. And if you asked every player about who's one of the biggest people who's brought us to be a whole and not just individual parts, they would say her. So I think you can do it if everybody is aligned in the vision and they're willing to be known. That's hard. I mean, to be courageously vulnerable with each other and to grow, to sacrifice individually for something that you want collectively, you have to have the right people on your bus, but I do think it can be done.
And Coach, if we can look to our left, we're going to take our last question.
Okay.
Good afternoon. I'm Jose Bedelia from Pinal Central Media. Good afternoon, Coach Close. Your team is playing South Carolina for the title, aiming to win for the first time in the program's history. South Carolina's defense played aggressively and held UConn to just 9 points in the fourth quarter yesterday. When you watch South Carolina on film, what do you notice about their style of play? How do you prepare your team for the biggest game of the season?
Yeah, great question. I think that I actually was saying to our staff yesterday before the game that I thought UConn could struggle with South Carolina's length, the way in which they can, keep you from playing north and south, and they really made them UConn to go side to side, and didn't get a lot of paint productivity. Didn't let them get 3-point shots off because they're so long, they're so versatile, they can switch so many screens, and I think that's the key is. How do you move the angles? How do you use screening actions? How do you, make it so that it's not just a one-on-one long athletic battle? Because they are so good on so many fronts. But how do you change their angles and really still play through the paint? Yeah, given that they are really good at what they do.
Coach, want to thank you for your time today and best of luck tomorrow.
Absolutely. Thank you guys. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Good morning and welcome to the NCAA Women's Final Four pre-national championship press conference. Joining us on the stage is Raven Johnson of the South Carolina Gamecocks. At this time, we'll open it up for questions for Raven. We'll start with Kareem. If we can come up to the front.
Hey, what's up, Raven? Kareem Copeland, ESPN. I kind of want to ask you about a quick moment last night. You, kind of right after the game when all the stuff's going on, you come up to Dawn and kind of like give her a high five. What's that like for you to kind of like see her hyped and really kind of give that energy and standing up for you guys and kind of what does that do for you as a team and for you personally when you see her with that energy and kind of getting it in like that?
Yeah, I honestly just saw her screaming or just something she doesn't usually do. So I ran over to her quick. Like I don't play about Coach Staley at all. We've been through a lot together, and she fight for each one of us outside of basketball. So I mean, you know, when she's in situations like that, I'm gonna always have her back. But I don't know why I gave her a high five. I just gave her a high five and she gave me one back. And I did not see Tessa. She was laughing or something. So I really was just trying to calm her down in the moment. But yeah.
We're going to stay to our left. If you could raise your hand in the blue, we'll get the microphone to you.
Courtney Cronin, ESPN. Raven, yesterday Tanaya was talking about 2023 and seeing the hurt that you experienced then and just the motivation that that gave her in coming here to help you guys get back to the stage and try to finish the job tomorrow. What has it been like going on this journey this season with a close friend that you've known for a long time and obviously have a lot of basketball history with?
It means a lot. Tonight she sacrificed a lot to come here. She was at Florida State and she could score 50 points, 40 points a night. But she came here to do one thing, and that's to win a national championship. And I remember in 2023 when I went through what I went through, she was one of the first people to call me and check up on me as a best friend, and it meant a lot to me. Just, you know, 'cause she didn't even know how I felt, or she didn't even know what it meant to be in those shoes. And she was the one person to check up on me and make sure I was good. So just to be back in a championship with her, it means so much. Like I want to win the championship for her and my teammates.
We're going to move to our right.
Hi, Raven. Kathleen Geyer with the Nine Sports. What have you seen from Maddie, maybe specifically as she's grown over the season and then really came in clutch last night?
Yeah, Maddie, she's ready. I think she's ready. Whenever her numbers call, she's always ready. She's poised, but she's next up. When I'm gone, she's going to be the next person to be in that position. And to play the point guard under Coach Staley is very hard. It's not easy. Like you have to be another version of her on the court. And I think, you know, Mouse, she's learned a lot from me. She's always asking questions. And I think whenever her numbers call, she's ready. And I think that showed last night.
Want to shift to the back, Cameron?
Cameron Tig at The Athletic. Raven, yesterday, Dawn mentioned something about before the game, or maybe the day before the game, she didn't know if you guys need to watch film again. And she came to you and you were like, no, we need to watch more film. I'm curious for you in the time that you spent here, what it's been like stepping into that role, and then why you felt like, hey, no, we need to dig back into this a little bit more.
Yeah, it's kind of go off like a look, sound, and feel thing, and I felt like, you know, we need to take the extra step and watch film, watch, you know, our matchups. It's little things like that, not just with the team. I think you should watch film on your own too. Just knowing your personnel, that can go a long way when you're on the court, when you're one step ahead. So I was just telling the team, you know, go watch film, go watch your matchup, go watch who else. You can help others also. Go help people that's never been in this situation. Go try to help them. So it's little things like that. That's why I said we should watch film.
Michael?
Michael Vopel, ESPN.com. Raven, can you talk a little bit about Medina's growth with everything she's sort of had to adjust to coming to a new country? And she said how much everybody's sort of helped her at South Carolina. I know she was at Mississippi State before, but just what you've seen of her personally and then her growth on court while she's been at South Carolina.
Yeah, Medina, she's like a big bear, like just a person you just snuggle with. She's my roommate. She's my roommate on campus and roommate in hotels. And I seen a lot of adversity that she went through. In the summer she was crying and she was asking herself, or she was saying, I didn't know this was this hard. Coming to this program was this hard. I thought it was peaches and creams, and I was like, you know, Medina is, you know, it's not no peaches and creams here. And she was like, I don't know if I fit this program. I don't know, you know, if I can handle all the adversity. I said, Medina, you're going to handle this. You're not the only one that's going through it. There's other people on this team that's going through it, but you got sisters, you got coaches that want to see you succeed, but you got to hit the rock bottoms to get to the high with the highs. And I think she hit the rock bottoms to get to the high with the highs. I mean, there were times in the season where coach didn't let her start so she could see the game and feel the game, and I think that really helped us. And when she said that she's back, she meant that she's back.
Take our next question from the back.
All right. Good afternoon. Terry Collins from TG Sports Television back here. What are some of the common misconceptions that incoming teammates and the general public may have about South Carolina basketball?
I don't really be on social. I don't be on Twitter because that is a toxic app. So I can tell you honestly, but I'm just saying for athletes, if you play sports or women's sports, stay off Twitter because those people are crazy on there.
We'll take our next question from the front. If you raise your hand, we can get the microphone to you.
Hey, Raven. Christy Winter-Scott, Big Ten Network. With the way that you were able to have a unified force defensively in the game yesterday, what aspects of that do you want to see carried over tomorrow against UCLA?
Yeah, I always been saying defense wins championships or defense wins games. Honestly, if you could stop a team from scoring under the points that they usually score, that goes a long way. I mean, everybody can score the ball or everybody can put the ball in the basket, but when you can stop, those top players on teams, I mean, that goes a long way. And I think that's going to help us for tomorrow too.
Take our next question, Natalie. If you can raise your hand, we can get the microphone to you.
Hi, Raven. Congratulations on last night's win. Natalie Esquire from NBC Sports. I wanted to know, one, you've been here before and you've won and you've lost. So what's the mindset going into the game for tomorrow? And also, when did you learn that you were going to be guarding Sarah Strong last night? Because it looked like your early defense seemed to frustrate her in the beginning of the game and set the tone.
Ooh. I'd say one thing we keep saying is believe. Believe that we could make the net stop. Believe that you can put the ball in the basket. Believe in each other. That's the biggest thing. Just believe in the circle that we have and let nobody break that circle that we have because nobody knows what we went through in the summer. Nobody knows, who we are, honestly. And Sarah Strong, talk about her. Gosh, she's strong. Like it's in her name. She's very strong. When I was on her, I was like, geez, I gotta push this heavy girl for 20 minutes or whatever I have to do. But she's a really good player. I was just trying to fight aggression with aggression. I mean, if she pushed me, I was gonna try to push back, but I wasn't gonna back down. I'm not scared of nobody. You could be 6'7", you could be 7 feet. Even Allie, shoot, I'm not scared of her. She's 6'7", and I'll push her too. So it's just little things like that when you're just trying to win.
Sir, in the yellow, if you can raise your hand, we can get the microphone to you. This will be to our right, Raven.
Right here. Jeff Metcalf, Sports 360 AZ. There's been an effort over the last few years to make sure that women are treated correctly all throughout each level of this tournament. The regionals here, all the way through, weight room facilities, everything they need when they're on the road. How has that been for you guys this time around?
I think it's been pretty fair, pretty good. I remember when I was in high school and there was a time on social media where the weight room was pretty small. They were like joking about it, but I think, it started with things like that, speaking out about things like that to get where we are now. I think it's pretty fair. It's pretty good. Hotels are nice. I think they're giving out really good gifts to the players. Not even that, they're treating you guys right also, but the fans, and I think it's pretty fair. I think it's pretty good.
Go to our left, Lindsay.
Good morning, Sydney Henderson, USA Today. Raven, I see you're wearing an Asia Wilson shirt. She has been very complimentary of you this season and said you don't get talked about enough. Were you able to speak with Asia after the game, and has she shared any advice heading into tomorrow's?
Oh yeah, no, I haven't spoke to her, but I mean, I'm pretty sure, she's gonna say go win it all. She started this, honestly, the first national championship she brought to the school. So we're just trying to continue the legacy and try to win for the people in front of us.
We can go to the back. If you can raise your hand in the gray, we can get the microphone to you.
Hi, Raven. Maddie Lee with The Lantern. You've been in this situation before, and I'm just wondering how your mentality has shifted throughout the season. How do you stay disciplined in these high rewarding situations like a national championship? How do you stay motivated?
How do I stay motivated? I mean, Coach Staley, in practice. Okay, let me be honest. How do I stay motivated? I want to win. Honestly, it doesn't matter. I want to win. I don't want to just win for myself. I want to win for my teammates. I want to win for Coach Staley. I want to win for South Carolina. I want to win for the people that was in front of us. I just want to win.
Lindsay?
Lindsay Gibbs with CBS Sports. Raven, obviously there was a lot of controversy after the game. last night. I wonder how you guys are addressing that within the team and if Staley has addressed any of that with you all directly.
Yeah, things happen, and we're not gonna dwell on that. I mean, we on to the next game. Really, it wasn't that big of a deal, but yeah.
Going to move to our right. If you can raise your hand in the second row, we can get the microphone to you.
Jesse Morrison, Arizona Sports. Two questions for you. First off, UCLA is a terrific team, obviously. Just what will be the key to beating them tomorrow? And then secondly, you've been to quite a few Final Fours now. Just how does your experience in Phoenix compare to other Final Fours you've been to in the past?
We're just gonna go out there and be ourselves, execute what the coaches have for us, and we have a high standard here, keeping that standard, which is keeping the main thing. And I say this is no different than other Final Fours or championships. It's a whole new team, but at the end of the day, we want one end goal, and that's to win the national championship. So like I said, we're gonna keep the main thing.
Let's stay to our right. Right here, center.
Hey, Ray Sean Hurd with ESPN's Landscape. You've seen a lot of different iterations of this team. I'm just curious what you make of Coach Staley's ability to adapt either play style or roster makeup to continue kind of being in this position where you guys are competing for championships.
Yeah. Coach Staley is a great coach, not even a great coach, a great human being. I think she lets people be comfortable with who they are, no matter who you are. I think she just try to instill confidence into each player. There could be times where you're not really confident in yourself, and she's going to make sure you're confident in yourself. And then you have great people. I think she does a really good job. Not even her, the coaches does a really good job of recruiting good type of players with great attitudes, great personality that could feed in or come in and feed in off each other. Have a great circle of great women. I think that goes a long way when you're coaching a group of girls like that, players that want to go dig in deep and play for bigger than themselves. They want to play for each other, play for her, play for South Carolina. So it's bigger than just the game of basketball, honestly.
Want to shift to our left?
Hi, Bob McMahon. I'm in Arizona Republic. Your coach can become one of just 4 coaches to win 4 national titles. Should you guys do it tomorrow? How much will that mean to you to make that happen for her and yourselves? And you think she's going to love joining the company she will be in, including her buddy Gino?
Oh, wow. I didn't even know that. But in the name of Jesus, amen. It means a lot. Honestly, Coach has done a lot for this program, but not even for this program, for the girls. I mean, she fight for us day in, day out, not with basketball, but just with life aspects. But so to win it for her, I mean, it's no better feeling, no better way to go out with a bang for her.
Hey, Dave. It'll be our right-hand side, Raven. Yep, right here.
David Cloninger, Post and Courier. Ray, 5 for 5 in your career in Final Fours. How has your emotions changed from freshman year to this year about going into this game?
Oh yeah, I remember my first time coming to the Final Four. I was looking at it as a trip, like a little vacation trip. And I seen the first gift. I was like, this is what we get in the Final Four. Ooh, I need to start coming back here more. And then I wasn't thinking about basketball. I was thinking about vacation. Like I was thinking about just getting away from South Carolina or places that I already been to. But now I think of it as a business trip. I'm used to being here. It takes more than just being here. You got to lock in, you got to buy into the process, and I'm trying to instill that to the younger girls who here. Enjoy the moment while you're here, because moments like this don't happen forever. But when it's time meant for business, be locked in and be in the moment where your feet are.
Hi, Raven. Hi, Raven. Marky Freeman with the Rising Media Stars. You have shared very openly about your adversity, your physical adversity, your mental adversity. But you've also proven to be an outstanding leader on this roster. How has that adversity shaped the type of leader you are?
Oh, I think it made me the person I am today. I mean, I'm the type of leader that jokes. Like I joke a lot, but I say things when it's probably not meant to be said, and I don't care honestly. But I think they listen to me, even when times I don't think they're listening. They're listening to every little thing I say. Like I could be saying, I could not be talking about basketball. I could be talking about other things. They be like, why would you say that? Or they be asking me questions, and I'd be like, dang, I need to watch what I say sometimes. But honestly, I just be true to who I am, and I don't change myself for anybody. And I think adversity has made me who I am today because I don't care what nobody say about me. I don't care if you like me. I don't care if you do like me. I'm just gonna stay true to who I am and let nobody uh change me.
Gonna go back to Cameron, then we'll come up row above.
Cameron Tig with the Athletic. Raven, Cori Close started her presser off yesterday and said, I wanted to apologize for the rugby match and the 23 turnovers, making a joke about kind of what the game looked like. I'm curious, as you guys scouted them and you watched that game, what watching them is like and how important it will be to kind of flush them and make them and turn the ball over as well.
Wait, sorry, repeat that question again.
I'm curious, just as you watched UCLA Texas yesterday, right? What you saw in that game and how important it'll be to flush them, kind of like a defensive matchup, make them turn the ball over as well.
Yeah, I think if we come in with the same mindset and tenacity that we did yesterday, I think we'll be good. But like I said, defense wins championships, so we're gonna try our best to turn them over. They're a really good team, also with really good players, and I think we can't take them for granted. So I think we're just gonna execute what the coaches have for us.
Stay to our left.
Raven, the matchup that you drew yesterday on Sarah Strong, I'm just wondering, kind of among the hardest ones that Dawn has put on you, where does that one rank? And I guess what would be, if it's not the top of the list, who is the hardest player that you've been called on to guard?
Yeah, she's top 2, but I say probably Michaela Blakes. She's a really good player. She moves really well. She's fast. Like she moves without the ball. She's very smart. She gets to her spots. She knows where her spots are. So I say with Sarah Strong, they're like different players. She's more of like a post. Like she's strong. She's physical. She gets to her spots too. But they're both really good players. But they're definitely top 2. But
We'll shift to our right.
Hey, Chapel Fowler at the State. You mentioned Allie Turnabees earlier. What's impressed you about just the transition that she's made, obviously coming in mid-season from another country, and how have you guys kind of helped her in that transition?
yeah, Allie, she has impressed me in many ways. She's coming from France, and she's learning things quick. I mean, that's pretty hard from a person that don't understand like a lot of English, which I'm trying to teach her some of my lingo. But the things she does, like she's a sponge, and when it comes to basketball, she's always asking questions. I mean, she has this winning mentality too, and I think watching her, I'm like, wow, like this girl, she's 16, 17, doing what she's doing. I remember when coach threw her in the Texas game, and she was ready for the moment. When I was a freshman, I wasn't ready for that moment. I was scared, and I think it's little things like that that just tell you about who coaches recruit and what she's bringing in. That tells you about the future of this program.
Going to shift to our left.
Hi, I'm Jose Badilla with Pinal Central Media. Last night, your team beat UConn. Your focus on beating UCLA for tomorrow's game. There are many stakes involved. When you watch UCLA's film, what do you notice about their play, and how would you describe their offense and defense?
They have a really dominant post, which is Lauren Betts, but she also has really good guards around her too. And they're seniors. I mean, they're very experienced. So I think, they do a really good job of playing well with each other or playing off each other. And I think, we're going to do a really good job of doing what the coaches have for us and executing the game plan that they have. And I think it's a really good game plan.
We'll go to the back. If you could raise your hand, we can get the microphone to you.
Hey, Raven, Caroline Soro from Fox Carolina here. Sorry if you've already been asked this question about competing for another championship with Tanaya Latson, but in the locker room just now, she said she had a random thought about playing in a championship with you during the game last night. Would you reflect on maybe some of the high school titles that you guys won together when you think about playing with her tomorrow?
Yeah, I always think of the Geico National Championship that we won. I remember we played. It was a good team, a really good team. And me and Tanaya was feeding off each other. We were throwing lobs to each other. We were just having fun out there. But after that game, we cried to each other, and we was telling each other how much we feed off each other, how much our connection is off the court. It carries on to to the court. And I think, with Tanaya being here, she has made me a better version of myself. Like she pushes me to a point where I don't even know where I can go. And it's things like that that I really wanted her here for, is to win the national championship, but also just to be by my side during my last ride.
Want to go to our right?
Ooh, Kessin, Greenville News. When we talked in November, you said your focus was on winning a national championship. You started the season with 4 new starters next to you. I think Dawn has used 8 or 9 different starting lineups because of injuries. What has this season taught you about yourself, and how has it forced you to grow as a leader?
Oh, it definitely taught me to believe. It definitely taught me to, trust my teammates, trust the coaching staff. But I think with this team, we have been through so much adversity. It started with Chloe Kitts going down in the summer. And I remember the day she went down, I closed my eyes and said, geez, like what are we gonna do? And which I probably should never said that, but it's little things like that where you have coaches, or you have the coach has the resources around us that, uplift us. And then you got freshmen like Gotti, Isla, Medina, who's new to this. They're playing like, this is not even a Final Four. Like I was telling them, do y'all know the history of this, of South Carolina and UConn game? They was like, no, we just wanted to win. So it's little things like that. But I mean, we all trusted one another with people going down throughout the season. Everybody stepped up, and when their number was called, shout out to Miriam. Forgot about her. Miriam, she's been phenomenal to this program also. But when everybody numbers called, they're ready for the moment.
Any additional questions in the room for Raven? Yep. We see you. There's a microphone. We can get it to you.
Hi, Raven. Could you talk about how your ability to guard multiple positions has opened up opportunities for Agat?
Yeah, when we go small lineup, coach tells me, just do what you do to stop the 4 player. Most of the time they're bigger than me. They're probably stronger than me, but I don't back down to the matchup. I tell coach I got her. Whatever she needs me to do, I got her. And then she puts Gotti on the ball handler, which she's a terrific defender also. She has a knack for finding the ball, or she has a knack for, just hunting the ball. And I think, that helps me also. I can get a little break or a breather, guarding a post player. But I mean, it's little things like that that goes with this team. Everybody's just going to do whatever it takes to win.
We'll stay in the back. Alexa, if you can raise your hand, then we'll get to you next as well.
Alexa Philpoot, ESPN. Raven, just having been part of this program for so long, each, I'm sure, team has its own unique journey and twists and turns. How would you describe this group's journey to get to this point this year? And as a leader, what was required for you to pour into this team that might have been different compared to other years?
Oh, it was hard. There's days I did not want to lead. There's days I didn't even want to talk. I was like, geez, I got to lead for 34 more games. Like, Jesus. It was overwhelming sometimes, but at the same time, I had to honestly suck it up and say, and challenge myself to do that. And, I didn't even think they were going to listen to me. I didn't think, because I'm a jokely person. Like, I joke all the time. It's rare that I'm serious when I'm not on the court. I'm always joking, but they do listen to me even when I'm joking. And I think, I'm realizing that now, and, I'm stepping into the role that I have, which is leadership. But I think they watch my every move also, even on the court. Like my move, it doesn't matter. They just watch me. And I think, I'm trying to instill pro habits into them, like Aaliyah Boston them instill pro habits into me. Oh, it was a roller coaster. There was a lot of highs with the highs and a lot of low with the lows. I mean, we went through a lot, but we all stuck together, even through the losses, like the Oklahoma loss. I mean, that tore us apart, but it was more of a lesson for us. Like I feel like we was getting a little too bit complacent of when we kept winning, and it just showed us that we have a high standard here, and we need to keep our standard high, and we need to attack practice like it's our last day. So it was a roller coaster for sure.
Take our next question from the back.
Emma Bachelari, Sports Illustrated. Raven, a lot has been made of how hard summer workouts were this year and Final Four Fridays with Molly. As someone who's been here, how much harder was this than other summers, and what do you remember about those workouts?
Oh gosh, what I remember is throwing up, and oh my gosh, I remember passing. I remember laying on the floor like, Jesus, I'm glad this is my last year. I remember walking the first day we walked to the weight room, and she had the UConn score up. And we were like, Molly, okay, that game been over. Can you take this off the board? She was like, no. So everybody was getting mad. And then we went to a track one day. Oh no, let me tell you. Oh my gosh. Medina Ocott blew me out in a track. our track race, and I was like, "Am I in shape? Like, what is going on with me?" And I remember throwing up, just going through a person that probably ate hot fries during the summer, hot wings or whatever. But it's things like that that get you over. That makes you better for Final Fours. That makes you better for Elite Eight games where you can push through the moments that's hard. So I think that started making this team the bond that we have now, trusting one another. We was picking each other up in the summer, and Molly brought up it was like Olympic games, honestly, with the stuff she had with us. It was crazy. But the summer we had, we needed that.
Lindsay?
Lindsay Gibbs with CBS Sports. Raven, Coach Staley talks so much about the good of the game, the big picture in women's sports, and wanting to be an advocate for all women in women's sports. How much does that weigh on you, if it does?
It doesn't weigh on me a lot. I'm just out here to play basketball. Honestly, I don't think about anything else. I just want to win. That's really all I think about. And whatever comes with it, comes with it. The good, the bad, I'll take it.
Any additional questions for Raven? You can raise your hand high. We can get the microphone to you.
Hi, Sinclair Richmond with Voice in Sport. I see you're repping the Asia Wilson shirt. How does the history of this program impact y'all's mindset, like if at all, entering these big games?
Yeah, Asia Wilson, she's a great leader. What she's doing now, I mean, every time you get on social media, you see her and her legacy. I mean, she's done a lot for the game of women's basketball, and just to see what she done for South Carolina. Also, we're trying to continue what she started. Like, it starts with her. Literally, like, in her voice, the things that she say doesn't go unnoticed. Like, we literally watch and see everything she says, and I think she's a great inspiration to us younger girls. So we love her.
Take our last question, gentleman in the blue.
Jeremy Dares, WYFF TV. Raven, after they lost to Texas in the SEC tournament championship game, you said the last time we lost the tournament title, we won a national championship. Here you are on the eve of that. What is it going to take, and what have y'all learned so much in the last 3 weeks since that loss?
Well, we learned a lot about ourselves. Yeah, it sucks to lose, especially something you really want to win, which was a SEC title. Sometimes you can't win everything. Sometimes you have to learn off the hard moments to make you better for more better moments, which is a national championship. And I think everybody found who they were. I think it was an identity thing. Also, I think everybody found they knew their role. Everybody had to step up. Everybody had to bring more to the table, and everybody had to bring that to practice also, and just know what it takes to be in moments like that. Don't take nobody for granted either. So.
Raven, want to thank you for your time today, and best of luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Good morning and welcome back to the NCAA Division I Women's Final Four pre-national championship press conference. Joining us on the dais is Coach Dawn Staley. Dawn, we're going to get straight to questions. We will start with Kareem, go to Andrea, then Annie.
Yeah, good morning, Dawn. Kareem Copeland, ESPN. Gino put out an apology this morning in a statement. Did you guys talk at all? Did he reach out to you personally? Did you guys have any kind of conversation? Do you want to have a conversation to clear the air? Just kind of responding to his response.
Yeah. For me, no distractions at this time. Concentrating on winning the national championship. That's it.
Andrew?
Andrea Adelson, ESPN. As a quick follow-up to that, Dawn, how disappointed or fill in the blank word are you that this has dominated the conversation instead of your journey to make it back to the championship game?
Yeah, that's a little disheartening. But at the same time, this is sports, and sometimes things like this happen. That's why I'm just going to just continue to focus on our team and their ability to advance in this tournament and hopefully win another national championship.
Go to Annie.
I won't let my bubble voice come out.
Dawn, Annie Costable, Front Office Sports. When you are in that moment yesterday and Raven comes over and high fives you, I think from the outside see your relationship with your players in those moments, but like what did that moment mean to you and how did that exemplify this relationship you have with your players?
It's just so classic Raven, like really classic Raven. I mean, she makes me laugh, even in the most, difficult situations. And because she's so innocent, like she really is a really kind-hearted young lady. And sometimes you need people around you to put things in perspective. So, it was a calming. It truly was a calming for her to do that. And just to break the ice of what was happening in real time.
You want to stay right here? Yep.
Hi, Maddie Kenny with the New York Post. How do you feel like you as a program has like built this bubble to ensure that like those distractions and things that could like, undermine what you guys are trying to do, not, become a bigger thing for you guys so you can stay focused on the goal?
Yeah. One, I had a praying mother, right? Right. Two, right. I grew up in the projects of North Philly, right? Philly, 215-267, right? Area code. So nothing can derail us or me from staying with the task at hand. There are a lot of distractions that are placed in your life. You're either going to address them and then let it overcome you, or you stick with the task at hand. I'm choosing to stick to the task at hand. At some point, everything's going to be addressed. But today, this weekend, won't be one of them.
Steve.
Thank you for answering that question. I'll go to another question now. I wanted to know, obviously, you're facing UCLA. We talked the other day about your relationship with Lauren, which was quite touching. Talk about the program, the challenge you face with them, Lauren, perhaps in particular.
And UCLA is coached by a great coach, Cori Close, who's done a tremendous job with keeping that group together and formulating something truly special and getting to back-to-back Final Fours and now to the national championship game. And she's done it with players who believe in her and her system. Her system works. And we're going to be challenged because they are pretty methodical in how they want to cut you apart. And so they got bigs, they got shooters, they got a point guard that's super smart. They're complete. Probably the only thing they don't have is a lot of depth, right? I don't think any of us have the depth that we want to have. But when you got a strong seven like they do, they put you in positions to compete for a national championship. So we're up against that, and they've been together. They are an experienced group that's used to playing well with each other, and they've been in situations which they've been challenged. So they're battle tested. So we got all of that, that we're up against.
Want to stay to our right, Coach?
Coach Claire Foley with Watch Fox out of Columbia. Over the last 5 years, how have you seen Raven's patience develop, both as a person and as a basketball player?
Is she patient? I've seen Raven's leadership, like her leadership has grown from doing it by example to now verbalizing and still doing it by example. Like there's winning behaviors, right? And Raven during this time only wants to hear and see things that are only going to help us. And if she hears something or sees something that doesn't fit that, she addresses it, which I think is the coolest, right? The coolest, because she's going to be that way for the rest of her life now. Like something feels a little off, she won't be able to help herself not to address it. And I kind of love when young people really know who they are and not take what they feel, see, or hear, something that isn't quite right with the core of who they are and what they believe in, to speak up. And Raven has that. I don't know if that's patience or not, but
Hey, Coach Tony Carter, Arizona State. How different would it feel to win this championship tomorrow as opposed to championships in the past?
I mean, every championship is a little bit different. I think I spoke on just 2023 that I'm haunted by that one. even though we won the following year in an undefeated fashion. That one still haunts me a little bit because of the people that I was doing it with. Didn't really get a chance to end their careers off on a note in which we were very capable of doing. This one would probably, I would have to, if I had to give it a title, it would be sacrifice. Sacrifice for players like Tanai Latson, right? Sacrifice for Raven, us not having her in the future. Miriam, who has committed to us for the past 2 years, whether she plays 1 minute or whether she plays 10 minutes, I don't think she's ever played 20 minutes. She really doesn't care. Like, the only thing she cares about is winning. And when you have players like that, that commit to the, to the sacredness of a team, means the world to me. So I want it for those young ladies.
We'll stay to our right. We're going to go Jonathan, David, and then right next to you. Yep.
I'm Jonathan Tannenwald from the Philadelphia Inquirer. Good morning, Don. I did get the area code reference in case that comes up. I wanted to ask about Lauren Betts because you've coached a lot of great bigs in your career, and you've coached against a lot of great bigs in your career. Where does she compare in all of that?
I mean, she brings about a great challenge. One, because a couple years ago, you could kind of be real physical with her, and she would kind of back down a little bit. Now she embraces it, right? Now she welcomes it, and she could play off of it so well. So you have to make a decision whether you're going to double her, whether you're going to single cover her, whether you're going to triple her, and then figure out how you're going to scramble out of that and prioritize who, because they can shoot the basketball. And she's the focal point. And when you're big as the focal point, it's hard. And when you work inside out, it's really hard. It's what we have predicated on my entire coaching career, is to be that way, whether we had 6-foot post players or 6-7-foot post players. So everybody's challenged when teams work inside out. And Lauren can see it all, and is patient enough to read the defenses and pass the ball where it's supposed to go, or bet on herself.
David Cloninger, Post Courier. Don, sorry to repeat the question from last week, but have you gotten any resolution on Medina's situation? And if y'all do get a no, do you consider maybe going to the courts?
Well, we bought ourselves 48 hours, more hours, right? So it's 96. No, I'm hoping to hear back from them shortly. I think our compliance is doing a great job. It's just, keeping the lines of communication open. And NCAA, they always ask for more and more information, and Medina's complying with getting the information, and hopefully they'll have an answer soon. We're talking about Medina's returning for a 5th year.
Christy Winter Scott, Big Ten Network. Dawn, you obviously have given all of your players roots and wings, right? With regards to the unified attack on the defensive end, how are you going to carry that force into tomorrow's game, and what will it take to tactically disrupt UCLA?
It's just that. I mean, we have to shrink the floor on Betts. Now she just can't play in space. I mean, they create the space, so we're gonna have to try to take some of the space away, with how we're guarding. And it's all predicated on whether or not we're gonna double or run somebody at Betts, and when we will do that, and who we do it from, because the percentages are real with how they shoot the basketball. So we have to limit the amount of times that they get catch and shoot opportunities. So, we want them to 2 us rather than 3 us. And how we accomplish that, hopefully is by running around and being in the proper defensive position, especially our help.
We'll shift to the back in the green.
Chris Wellbaum, Gamecock Central. Don, how has Raven's ability to guard positions 1 through 4 created more opportunity for Gotti, and how does their versatility help the whole team get more opportunities?
Yeah, that means everything to us to be able to, I think UConn went small yesterday, and for Raven to be able to play Sarah, if they had a traditional lineup where they went big, Raven was guarding Sarah for a short portion of the game, and we didn't really skip a beat. It was a different type of defense that Sarah's probably used to being guarded by, which was being physical, playing underneath her, and just make her think more like a guard versus a big. And that allowed Gotti to be on the floor a little bit longer. And we needed Gotti to be on the floor because if Raven didn't have Fudd, we needed Gotti's length, which is a different look for her as well. So we're able to be just a little bit more versatile in our small lineup because Raven's ability to be fearless and guarding anyone.
Go to the back in the blue.
Good afternoon, Coach. Terry Collins from TV Sports One. With the transfer portal and NIL, what impact has that had on building team chemistry and getting players to buy into a particular role?
Well, I think it's all this. It really for us is all the same. I think we've been in a position of having still a core group of our players together that really understand how we like to operate, as a team. So yes, you discuss how you are and how you want to operate, and then the players will take over, and we operate from a look sound feel. If something looks sound and feels off or good, you address it, you encourage it. And that's basically like for me, that's my rule of life. Look, sound, feel good. Hey, let's keep doing that. Bad, hey, we might want to figure out a different way of doing that. And our players are really good about that.
We'll stay to our left if you can raise your hand, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Bob McCommand, I'm in Arizona Republic. You talked last night about your deep passion for this game and obviously your roots back in North Philly. Tomorrow you could become just the 4th coach to win 4 national championships, and you'll do it in 9 years if you do it. You'll be joining some impressive names, one of them being your pal Gino. Will that make it even especially sweet to join such a list?
No, I don't really compare myself to anybody when it comes to it. I mean, I do it. I do what I do for our players. I do what I do for the coaches that I work with every single day. Those are the people that are in the trenches. Other people outside of us, I've never really compared myself to. So no, winning another championship is important. It's important for our fans, and it's important for our athletics department, our university. And if you can produce championships, maybe you can reduce the amount of articles that go out with how much money we spend against the budget. But I know I'm going off on a tangent, but because the article that was written wasn't meant any harm, and it wasn't intentional, but because of it, it causes a ripple effect of breaking down why we spend so much money on women's basketball. When you have to address and measure all the metrics. If you just go dollar for dollar, not every school is going to be in the black, right? Every school is going to be in the red. But I do think we give contributions to the university from a data standpoint, and those are or should be dollar figures behind it. They have the numbers and they have the data on campus to calculate that. I don't know what it is. They'll probably never let us see what that is. But I'm sure it would actually reduce the amount of money, that figure that was out there, how much money we spent over budget.
We're going to go Doug, Michael Vopel, the other Michael.
Hey, Coach Doug Feinberg, the AP. Two questions. The first one, I know you have an affinity for the program. They announced, you probably heard about it, but Virginia announced that they're parted ways with Coach. Just your thoughts on the program, not the specific move. And the second one is just, you remember back to your first time playing in the championship game as a coach or coaching a championship game. What was it like since it's UCLA's first time here?
Yeah, I just heard about that. And I did reach out to our athletic director at Virginia, and she just told me that they did part ways. I don't know why. She said we'll talk soon. I think I reached out to Coach Mox as well just to check on her. Really haven't had the time to have a conversation with her. So I don't know what went wrong, but I think she had him on the right track. And I hope we get it together. I mean, we got a deeply rich tradition at UVA on this stage, and we hope to get our team back there one day sooner than later. And then, I mean, the first is always special. You know, it's always special to get here, to exhale. And I think Cori and UCLA, because they were here last year, you really have some type of expectations of the little bit of prep time that you have. We had an hour on the court, we got an hour, open practice, and that's all we're gonna do. We're not gonna go to another site because rest is equally as important as getting in there. It's special. I mean, it's special. You're playing on the last day of college women's basketball, and it's a great honor and a great feat, whether you win or lose, but you also are measuring where your program can continue to go. And for us, 2017, we won it. I'm hoping that's not the same for UCLA on Sunday. But it's really cool, and I'm happy, genuinely happy for Cori and UCLA. Really am, because you want to see your program progress in a way of not just 20 and 30-point season. I mean, 30-point win seasons. You want to see it in competing for a national championship, like really competing for a national championship.
Michael.
Yeah, Coach Staley, Michael Vopel from ESPN.com. Back in 2023, you guys faced UCLA in the Sweet 16. There are two players, Gabriela Jaquez and Kiki Rice, kind of like their version, a little bit of Raven. I know you've had Raven for 5 years, but kids who stuck with the program. I just wonder if you have any thoughts, particularly on those two kids and what they've meant to UCLA.
Rare that top players like them stay with the programs that they've been with. I mean, there's a lot of poaching and a lot of stuff that goes on. But I think it goes to show the strong relationship that they have with Cori. And I think Cori does a really good job at making sure our players have exactly what their needs are from an NIL standpoint, from a nurturing standpoint, from a basketball fulfilling standpoint. So I think is great, and it's only fitting that this is their consecutive Final Four appearance and their first national championship appearance. It means that they are the cornerstones of their rise to this level. And I mean, I love the fact that they're loyal, and there's nothing stronger than having that trust and that loyalty to stay with the program you were with.
Go to our left. We'll go Michael, Rob, Lindsay.
Coach Michael Carrasino, Sideline Sports. When you talk about the experience, obviously the quick turnaround, I mean, that's the format, pardon me, but with your experience in that, what's the balance of, I mean, obviously breaking down film, having a game plan, but the importance and the challenge of more so in-game adjustments coming into a championship game?
I mean, you do rely on um you do rely on your staff to be prepared. Obviously we watch a whole lot. Um I probably don't watch as much as um the coach that has the scout. So we're always prepared. We probably have too much information to where you want to make sure you're not feeding the players a lot. Like I had a lot I wanted to do against UConn, but I was like, nope. Let me just stick with what has gotten us here, and then, some adjustments that we could have made during that particular game. Was hearing a lot. Like was hearing a lot from our staff. Was hearing a lot from Mary Woolley, who had the scout and did a tremendous job to, when we got up a little bit, they didn't call a timeout to advance the ball. I don't think they were in that position. She was like, they like to run the sideline break. Let's get in our containment press. Was great. Shaved a lot of time off the clock. So you rely on um the experts, and the experts really are the assistant coaches who do a really great job at just making sure they have the information. We need to have the information. We don't know what's happening out there. You put us in a position to possibly lose a game on the biggest stage because you're not promised to get back here, so you want to make it count.
Rob Knox, the nine basketball. Can you just share what are you most proud of Maddie's growth from earlier this season to now, and what you saw from her last night?
I mean, Maddie's been growing. A lot of times you forget that she's just a sophomore, right? She's one that is um high performing, especially in practice, low maintenance, really quiet person, just comes to work without complaint. Um, I thought she was big for us last night. She, at a time when Raven was pretty exhausted, you know, um, from having to guard AZ Fudd and Sarah Strong, um, to having to get open. Like she had to get open. They put a lot of pressure on her to get open. So she expended a lot of energy trying to do those things. So, by the fourth quarter, when we took her out, maybe we took her out the end of the third quarter to give her a little break and then a timeout. Maddie was just playing extremely well. So we just kept her out there. I mean, was Raven ready to go back in? And Raven's like, no, I mean, they're playing well together. So keep her out there. And that is the kind of just culture that we have. Would Maddie get mad that we put Raven back in? No, not at all. Because she understands, what it takes to win. And it is about combinations. It really is about what combination, what unit of five players are playing well together. And we'll just let them string out. We'll play them till the cows come home, or the momentum shift. And Maddie was definitely a momentum shifter for us because of her speed and her ability to make passes, and she had a big bucket during the time that we needed a bucket in transition. Mhm.
Lindsay Gibbs with CBS Sports. We talk about how rare it is for players to stay at programs for all 4 years. It's getting more difficult for coaches to get long tenures at programs as well. And, we just talked about Virginia. Both you and Cori have been with your programs for, well over a decade, 15 years now for her. And you got a little bit of leeway early on in your career before the really big successes started coming. How important was that? Were you in those early years worried every year, like about your job, or did you have some security? And I guess what advice would you have for other athletic directors about those early years?
Yeah, early years. I mean, our athletic director at the time, Eric Hyman, he was telling me when I first got the job at South Carolina that it's going to take 3 years. I'm like, 3 years? 3 years to get it together. Like, and I was, I wasn't very patient. and I thought we would get it together, prior to 3 years. And in about 3 years, we were able to, you know, get our footing a little bit, see the improvements, not only just on the floor, but also in the win column. So I was secure enough to get through that trying time, but the AD also had in his mind how long it would take. And when you have someone in tune, like in leadership, that really understand, because sometimes it's not about the wins and losses in the beginning. It's about culture shift. It's about seeing if the product on the floor is making the move, seeing if the community is supporting it. And all those things matter. So you need that. So when you actually looking at taking a job, you want to make sure that you and um, your 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 boss are on the same page and have the same outlook. And part of that is just being able to be like the ultimate communicator. And then it's hard nowadays. It's hard to juggle year to year. How you be successful in this in the state of our game with NIL, with just impatience. It's really hard. I don't really have the answer to it besides if you're going to go in a situation, make sure you're supported in all the resources that you need to be successful. And a lot of that is NIL. You could probably handle some of the other stuff, but it's really NIL to be able to be successful in this space.
We'll go to our right.
Hi there, Marissa and Jemmy, LA Times. You've hit on Cori a little bit. I'm curious, how have you seen her grow as a coach these past few years, and what do you think she does really well?
I think Cori is a connector. She connects with her players. She connects with the community. She connects with powerful women that can help, her as well as her players. She uses her voice. I think she's very in tune with the state of our game, very in tune, and she doesn't mind sharing, and that's the key. You got to be able to share what you know in order for our game to grow. I do think she's a spokesperson for our game, and she's one that really has used her voice for the advancement of our sport.
Take our next question in the pink.
Alexis Davis, Rising Media Stars. For you and Coach Close, both of you all have young coaches on your team with UCLA's Michaela Onwere, and then you also have a couple of younger assistants. For you, why is it important to give them an opportunity? And then also, too, with your players, seeing them in your role, not all of them are going to go off and play, professionally, or if they do, won't always be a long tenure. So for you, how is that also an example for them, for the possibilities that are available for them in the game outside of just being a player?
Yeah, it's very important. It's very important. I think that the NC2A allowed 2 extra staff members. So we have 6. Yeah, I think we have 6. 6 coaches. 1, 2, 3, 4. How many we have? 5. We have 5, right? 5 assistant coaches, and it allows you to mentor younger coaches. So so our game is safe, right? It's hard to get in our game. That's 1. 2, I think when you're able to utilize one of those spaces for a young coach, you can help guide them to being a better coach. And for us, we chose to go younger, former player, because we need that energy. Like, I'm getting older. It's hard. Like we need Khadijah Sessions is the young gun on our team, and she has the energy to keep up with every trend out there. And then our players really respect her because she's in the gym with them all the time. They she plays a pivotal role in the growth because she's a phenomenal developer. So it's cool. Like you need to have those young people on your staff so they can grow within um the whole coaching tree of women's basketball. And then I do think it's important that our players see people who are closer to their age than our age in that position because they all won't go to the WNBA. Probably a small percentage, slim to none, will go to the WNBA, and it probably reduce that because of how much people are getting paid. So veterans are going to stay in the game a little bit longer. Will decrease the amount of opportunities that young people get. So it gets pretty competitive. And if you want to stay in the sport, the best way to do that is grad school, being an assistant coach. So it's a win-win situation.
I'll take our last question from the back.
Coach Charlotte. Hi, Coach. Charlotte Moore, FI 360 News. You mentioned earlier about your praying mother, and to contextualize this weekend playing specifically during this holiday time, how would you conceptualize that? And also, do you have a guiding scripture for this weekend that's taking you into the championship game tomorrow?
I mean, I don't try to overly put my beliefs on people, but you ask. I mean, I have an understanding of who's the reason for all seasons in my life, right? Um, and I got that from my mother, whether I like going to church every Sunday when I was growing up or not. But I'm rooted in that, that's my mother's legacy that she left with me. So I have a really good understanding of the uncommon favor that's bestowed on my life. I don't really have a scripture going into this particular national championship game, but I do have scripture that that is near and dear to me. And it starts with, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Favorite one.
Thank you for your time today, Coach, and best of luck tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you all.